Humans start with cells. Many cells join together, make tissue. Tissue working together make an organ. And many organs make an organ system. Cells are the smallest living part of an organism. Some examples of cells in the human body are brain cells, lung cells, and bone cells. When cells of similar structure and function join together, they form tissue. A group of brain cells is called brain tissue. A group of lung cells is called lung tissue. And bone cells joined together is called bone tissue. When a group of tissues that perform a specific function join together, they form organs. Brain tissue comes together to make your brain. Your brain is an organ. Lung tissue comes together to make your lungs. And bone tissue comes together to make individual bones. An organ system is a collection of organs working together to perform jobs. Your brain is a part of the nervous system. Your brain, spinal cord, and nerves work together to collect and process information. Your lungs are a part of the respiratory system. Along with the diaphragm and others, they help you breathe. All of the bones in your body are a part of the skeletal system. Bones, cartilage, ligaments, and tendons give your body structure and support. So from smallest to largest, your body is made up of cells, tissue, organs, and then organ systems. These are the levels of organization.
We often think of individual cells as things, but in the eyes of a chemist, a cell is a highly active, highly sophisticated chemical system. The cells in our bodies, and as a consequence, our bodies themselves, are better thought of not as things, but as whirlpools. Of them all, researchers often separate them into two main categories: anabolic metabolism, reactions that join molecules together to build new ones, and catabolic metabolism, reactions that break molecules apart. To remember the difference, think catabolic as in catastrophe, because catabolic reactions destroy things. When you eat an apple, your digestive tract breaks it down into individual molecules, sugars, fats, and amino acids. These are absorbed by your intestines, enter the bloodstream, and are then distributed to the cells of your body. Once inside the cell, metabolic reactions take over, transforming those molecules into little bits of you. While we often take this for granted, this concept is so important and so bizarre that it's worth repeating. A cell's metabolism, its internal network of chemical reactions, takes molecules from the environment, the molecules of an apple in this case, breaks them down and transforms them into pieces of the cell itself. Sometimes the cell builds replacement parts for its own molecules that have been worn out. Other times it builds energy molecules. These act like fuel and will power the cell's future activities. Muscle cells use energy molecules to contract, brain cells use them to help form thoughts, and so on.
Homeostatic control mechanisms or systems. In order to maintain homeostasis, cells must be in an environment that allows them to function properly with changing external conditions. Almost all of the organs and systems in the body must work to maintain homeostasis. If the body needs to change the internal environment, it does so through what is called homeostatic control mechanisms. For instance, when you go for a run, your body needs more oxygen, and your body produces more carbon dioxide. So, the internal environment must adapt to the changing needs. During your run, your breathing will increase, bringing more oxygen in and eliminating the increased production of carbon dioxide. Your heartbeat and stroke volume will increase, thus increasing the amount of nutrient-rich blood being sent throughout your body. This process of the body adjusting to change is called a feedback control loop or feedback control system. These control loops transmit information in mainly two ways: through nervous impulses or by chemical messengers called hormones. Whether the nervous impulses or hormones are transmitting the information, the feedback control loops work in the same way and have the same basic components. Glands and sensory nerve cells can act as homeostatic sensors. If something changes outside of the normal set point range for homeostasis, a sensor transmits a signal to the next component of the feedback loop, the integrator. The integrator is the control center of the feedback loop, and many times it is in an area of the brain. It gets this signal or variable and analyzes it and checks it with other signals or variables it has received from other sensors. It checks the value of the variables it has received against the normal set point range for those variables. If the integrator determines these variables are outside of the normal set point range, then some type of action is needed. If action is necessary, the integrator sends a signal to the third component of the feedback control loop, the effector mechanism. Effectors are organs, like glands or muscles, which provide the response that the integrator or control center desires. The goal of the effectors is to influence or change the values of the variables. This can be positive or negative changes to the variables, such as increasing or decreasing heart rate, or altering the concentration of glucose in the bloodstream, glucose being the main source of fuel for cells. As these effectors make changes, the variables attain new values, and this is sent back through the feedback control loop. For instance, if you're walking, then you start jogging, effectors will increase your heart rate based on the mechanisms of the feedback control loop. Many sources use a diagram of a furnace controlled by a thermostat to explain this process more clearly. Here we have a house, and here we have a person. Let's say that in both situations, a stimulus happens. That being a cold front blows in, causing a decrease in temperature. The house has a thermometer, which is its sensor, and the person has temperature receptors in the skin, which are the sensor mechanism for the body. The thermometer sends the information that the temperature or variable has decreased through wires to its integrator, the thermostat. The temperature receptors in the skin send the variable change through nerve fibers to the brain, or the integrator for the body in this situation. The integrators or control centers for both the body and the house check the value of the newly received variables against the set point range that each of them has allowed for this type of variable. Since this temperature variable change does not lie within that set point range, the integrators send a signal to effectors to do something to get these variables within this set point range. In the case of the house, the thermostat sends a message through wires to the furnace to crank the heat up. In the body, the brain sends a message through nerve fibers to the muscles to start shivering and generate some heat. In both the house and the body of the person, the heat that is generated brings them both to a state of homeostasis. Once homeostasis is reached, both sensor mechanisms, the thermometer and temperature receptors in the skin, are sending new variable values or feedback to their integrators that lie within the set point ranges. One note worth repeating: homeostatic control systems can be based on positive or negative feedback, and that be the homeostatic control mechanisms or systems.